It's a unanimous take. Love him or hate him, Gibbs was an integral part of NCIS. The show still talks about the character, but we can't see him on our screens. Of course, it wouldn't be possible without Mark Harmon. He gave life to Leroy Gibbs in a way no one else could. This video will discuss his surprising career before the show and some facts about the legend. Let's go. First off, it's not what you would expect. Some actors just come across as being so naturally good at what they do. It's amazing to see how diverse we can be. But hey, people have a lot of other talents and passions. Let's face it, it's a difficult industry. It makes sense to experiment in other areas before you consider acting and performing, for whatever reason. The list is endless, from working in an office to waiting tables. Some people have been in it from the get-go, and some have dabbled in other things. With Harmon, it's a different story. Before dipping his toes into the acting gig, the 71-year-old actor revealed he was a carpenter. You heard us. Imagine Gibbs wielding a chainsaw and a hammer. He would be pretty good at setting up IKEA furniture. We get the vision. He continued by saying how much he loved his job. He enjoyed the routine of waking up early and traveling to work. The task itself was what he loved too. Carpentry is also a little labor intensive, so you have to put your back into it. That was another thing he loved about it. When you think about it, it is a creative field. Anything you make with your hands or brain counts. Along with doing it right, you gotta be technically correct and precise, bro. Good thing for him, he was a pro at it. Up next, the difficult times. It wasn't always sunny on that side though. Harmon also mentioned how difficult it was for him to find a steady job as a carpenter. Despite his best efforts and a lot of interviews, he could not land a job, let alone one that paid enough. When asked what he would do if he weren't into film and TV, he said he would love to return to his prior profession. Since then, a lot has changed, and we're confident that if he starts his furniture line, it will be a big hit. Who wouldn't want Gibbs working on their TV console? He still enjoys the craft and probably has a small woodworking setup at home. He said if you did it right, your project would outlive you. Okay, but this shocking plot twist hasn't stopped us from reeling. You'd think he'd have any other occupation or hobby. Life is full of surprises, y'all. But to be honest, now that Gibbs is retired and content with his life, we can picture him building a cabin in Alaska, doing your silly little chores, catching fish. That's how life is. He claimed that if he had not started in show business, he would likely be on the grind trying to make it in the world of carpenters. Wood, dust, and shavings, the whole deal. Following up, there was a side job too. What's life if not constantly hustling and grinding? Harmon can sure relate. Things were going slow for the guy, and he needed to make ends meet. A lot of us with 2 part-time jobs can relate. He decided to work as an ad salesman, and things there took off. We all know how the grind of a 9-to-5 is, but weirdly, Mark liked that part of it. The man sure does enjoy a schedule. This continued for roughly 4 years. He later explained that he was promoted to a different ad-based position with a shoe company as well, and this was a good promotion because he became their national sales representative. By then, he was somewhat of a shoe salesman. Get that dollar, brother. Now, let's look at 9 facts about the NCIS legend. Firstly, his love of football. Loving sports in college is one thing. Doing it so well that you almost make a career out of it is another. That's how many athletes discover their careers. And it's crazy to think that Mark Harmon almost went down that route. He had a very successful college football career at UCLA and was even allowed to turn professional with a contract to play for the NFL with the New England Patriots. He declined the offer, saying he wasn't good enough. To him, college was about getting an education rather than starting a career as a jock. Coming to his trailer at NCIS. Now that we know he has a background in carpentry, this one isn't all too surprising. Usually, we all wonder how stars decorate their trailers and everything they keep inside them. Well, in this case, he took matters into his own hands entirely. While he was on set of NCIS, his trailer was a 1972 Airstream one. He restored it himself. Oh yeah, he went to town. He had to do that so he could fit his dressing room in, and it even had red and white checkered tiles and an 8-track player. Let's talk about his rise to fame. The casting process is hectic. Not gonna lie, it's competitive and especially nerve-wracking when you're just starting in showbiz. Harmon didn't have a tough time wowing the directors at all. Donald P. Belisario, the creator of NCIS, handpicked the guy. He cast him after he saw his awesome performance as a Secret Service agent in a movie called The West Wing. The rest is just history. Coming up, some of his injuries. Some are from his college days, of course. You can't play football and come out of it unscathed. The same applies to Hollywood, in the sense that a TV set can have a lot of accidents. He had an abducted left knee from his old sports days. It's manageable now, but it was probably tough when he was first injured. He also broke his collarbone once in a scrimmage in a match at UCLA in 1973. 3. On top of that, he has also broken his shoulder, not once, but twice. This was while he was filming an episode of Summer School and once during a beer commercial. Yikes. Following up, some facts about his parents. Looking at his roots, you can see where he got his love for performing. His dad used to be a Heisman Trophy winning football player and broadcaster. It's so cool to see how your parents influenced you because Mark did also play football. On the other hand, his mom was an actress and an artist, more specifically a painter. Sadly, she passed away in 2012 at the age of 94. Now, let's look at how he got his last name. If you go even deeper, we come to ancestry. His maternal grandparents, it turns out, were from Vienna, Austria. His dad, meanwhile, is one part Irish. The rest of the two parts are French and German. His surname used to be Herman, the family name. It makes sense because it's German. They later changed it to Harmon themselves. We have no idea why. Oh, and there's a cute high school story too. This one is just too good to pass up. When he was 16, he had an after-school job as a flower boy. Cute, right? What's even cuter is what he did on the job. Once, he found a dozen roses addressed to this girl he knew. Now, his friend was dating this girl very seriously, but the flowers weren't from him. So, being the wingman he was, he cut out the other name and put his friend's name instead. A true hero, just 16 years of age. Now, for another job that this guy had: carpenter, shoe salesman, and actor. What has this man not done? We're sure his resume is more impressive than any other we've seen, not to mention his teen job as a delivery boy for flowers. Oh, the stories he probably has to tell. This is also an unexpected venture because you do many different things when you're desperate to make ends meet. While trying to make a buck, he used to be a lifeguard only in the summers. This was at Laguna Beach in California. It's even more interesting when you realize that his parents and sisters-in-law own houses on the same beach. It just puts into perspective that he's fully a self-made man. It's so inspiring. And last but not least, his love for beer. Ask anybody around in the 80s. Coors beer commercials were big, and Harmon starred in many of them. He's done more than 20 of them just at the start of his career. We're sure some old footage is lying around somewhere on the internet. Now that he's made it, he's still known as the face of Coors beer, and it goes with his character on NCIS. Well, that's all for this video. What do you think of Mark Harmon's old career as a carpenter before fame? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.